Following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to the wonderful world of wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. This medical program heard from 7 to 7:30 each Saturday right here on WSBR 740 AM is brought to you by the Adult and Geriatric Center under the medical direction of geriatrician Dr. Andy Mencia. Okay, here we are, bright and early, and
what
I'm
a
here.
Beautiful morning.
Beautiful morning. I'm here with Dr. Andy Mencia. I'm Anita Finley, and we are we're going to work on we're going to talk about something that I think is so important. What is that, Dr. Mencia?
Well, first of all, we want to congratulate all the fathers out there that are our faithful listeners. Happy Father's Day for all of you, and for me too.
And wait a minute, we mothers have to be congratulated because we have to put up with the fathers.
That's right. Yes.
Thank you.
You always have to put your 2 cents into that. That is true. So we have lost a lot of our fathers and mothers and kids to congestive heart failure. And I think, last year we spoke about the prostate during Father's Day. So this year I think we should talk about a different topic that also can affect many, many men. And it will be the congestive heart failure. And what is congestive heart failure? Basically, the muscle in your heart starts stretching. Because see, the muscle is a pump. The heart as an organ, it works as a pump. And it's moving 5 liters of blood every minute, just moving it around your body. Now, if you can imagine that system of your heart working as a pump, and then the lung is another system that works in the exchange of oxygen with getting all the toxic, like carbon dioxide, get that out of the system and get the oxygen to come into the system. And that's a station that the blood have to go through to pick up the oxygen, and then it comes back to the heart. So the heart as a pump is like 2 pumps in 1. You have a minor and a major pump. The minor pump is just pumping into the lungs because the lungs are right by the heart. Everything is in your chest. So one goes into the lungs and receive the oxygen and get rid of all the waste material at the lungs. And then the lungs send that back through the heart. Then the heart will take that blood and pump it out to the brain, to all the muscle, to the intestine, to the liver, to the kidney, to the prostate, and so on, to the ovary in a woman, and so on. The adrenal gland, sometimes you hear about people having adrenal insufficiency. The adrenal gland is 2 glands that sits on top of the kidneys. And for those of us that practice holistic medicine as well as traditional medicine, the adrenal gland become very, very important for hormone production and utilization. So the adrenal gland, they will sit there. If they are not getting enough blood, they're just going to stop producing. It's like if you have a factory, but somebody turn off your electric system. The electric system is out. How can you produce anything in the factory? The factory is just going to shut down and you stay there until somebody give you light back into the factory. So the adrenal gland are extremely important for us to have energy, for us to have sexual desire, to have the potency to have sex, to have the desire to work, So when these hormones decrease because of lack of blood flow, the person can have so many symptomatology that you get treated for so many different things, because when you go to a doctor that don't have a holistic approach to care, and they see that you are having problem with constipation, they're going to treat you for constipation. They're not going to, we are not going to go and do a $1 million workup for constipation. And if you go and you say, I feel so depressed, they're going to treat you for depression. Send you to a psychiatrist and you get treated for depression. And as the blood flow decreases to the brain, especially at night when you are sleeping, then you're going to be treated for memory loss. Because people say, I'm just repeating myself so much. And so you can imagine how this can become a vicious cycle. And you fall into that spiral of polypharmacy, multiple drugs being given for multiple symptoms, but they all root into one thing. It's lack of oxygen. So, and that's why you hear sometimes people say, I went to a oxygen bar, and they just put it on a cannula with oxygen, and they are breathing oxygen, and people say they feel better. Of course, when we take oxygen is essential for living. So all the cells in your body, all the hormones, we need oxygen as a source of energy to get the chemical to come together and produce what they are supposed to produce, so that none of those pathways get interrupted.
Okay, so if the heart is not pumping, because I really got this picture now, you always explain things so well. So the heart's the pump, like in your pool, is pumping.
Right.
Is a pacemaker going to help that?
Okay, well, let's dig a little bit more.
Okay,
so I want
ahead.
people to really understand what is congestive heart failure. So your heart is pumping 24/7. From the moment you are born until the moment you die, your heart is pumping. As a matter of fact, you can be dead in the brain, but your heart still pump. And when people go through that, that's such a difficult decision to make when they say, your loved one is brain dead. But you see, they're still taking a pulse, they're still taking a blood pressure. Their body's still living, but the brain had died because of lack of oxygen. And they say, well, now he or she is a vegetable. So what are you going to do now? And I was dealing with one of my staff members that is working with one of his best friends that is going through that situation. So let's go back to the heart, because everything is coming back, taking us right back to the heart. So the heart is pumping 24/7 when you are sleeping, when you are eating, when you are in the bathroom, when you're taking a shower, when you are doing anything, your heart will not stop working. It's not like the heart say, let me take a break and I'll be back. No, your heart has to be there working for you. The brain, you can slow down and do things. Now, the way the heart works is like an elastic band. The muscle, they stretch and receive the blood, and then it go through a strong contraction and pump all the blood out of the heart in one pump. You have to send everything out so you can make room for the next flow of blood that is going to come from the lung. And this is constant. Now, you have people, and I don't care on my patient's age. They can be 20 or they can be 120, like the order is saying, right? May you live to be 120. They can be 20 or 120. If you have a condition that can take you into congestive heart failure, I'm not going to see you once a year. That's the mistake most of us make out there. That we know we have problem with the blood pressure, and because we think the blood pressure is well controlled, that we say, I'm not going to go back to the doctor. Or the doctor say, I don't need to see you unless you have a problem. That's the worst advice you can receive from your doctor. When they tell you, I won't see you unless you have a problem. That means that doctor, he or she don't believe in preventive. When you have a problem, then come to me so we can try to carry you through the rest of your life.
Mm. This is amazing. I mean, I'm thinking more about my heart all the time now as you're talking. My precious little heart.
Yeah, absolutely, we should, because if a pump is working, if you have a pump in your house that is pumping water, and you take some of the pipes, and they are, let's say, 3/4 of an inch and you make them smaller, you make those pipes smaller, well, guess what? Now that pump is working against pressure. If you make those pipe bigger, then there is less pressure. So every time that pump will do its work, the water is just going to flow out easy because there's less pressure. It's simple physics. So if you have elevated blood pressure, that means that the blood vessel, the diameter had decreased to a level that now the heart is working against pressure. And the heart does not like to work against pressure. The heart likes to work with volume, especially the right heart, which is the right pump. It just does not survive when it's working against pressure. It will work against volume. You can take, instead of 5 liters, we can give you 10 liters of blood. We can overload you with blood, and the heart will still work as long as you are giving volume and no pressure. So what happened to the heart is, because the heart is like a rubber band, when you take a rubber band and you stretch it, it will come back, especially if it's a brand new rubber band just out of the box. You stretch it and it will come back into its original size. But you keep stretching that rubber band, and every time pull a little bit more and a little bit more, and what will happen to that rubber band? It's going to get bigger and bigger. That's why the rubber band I put around my ponytail, I have to change it every so often, because you grab it and you stretch it to put it around your hair, and those rubber bands eventually become useless. The heart is the same way.
I've never thought about it. This is amazing discussion. I mean, I'm just infatuated with what you're saying. So if you have a very good, strong heart, you need to take care of it, and you're going to tell us about that. But some people maybe don't have a good, strong heart, and maybe it's nothing they did.
Yeah, some people, if, let's say, you have a viral infection, you say, it's a viral infection, I'm not going to go to the doctor. If you have poor dental care, you don't take good care of your mouth. When you don't take care of your mouth, guess what? You have bacterial overgrowth. It had been proven in numerous studies that when you have bacterial overgrowth in your mouth, that bacteria is going to go through your system. It's going to go through your bloodstream, and it can end up in the heart, and it can give you a condition called endocarditis, inflammation of the inner part of the heart. It can give you pericarditis, inflammation of the outer part of the heart. When the heart undergoes this type of inflammation, then the muscle become more flaccid. So we take the same rubber band and we stretch it and let it go. We stretch it and let it go. Now let's put ourselves inside an oven and do the same stretching and letting go on the rubber band. You're just going to do it once. It will never come back to what it was before. So when you have simple inflammation, it takes you maybe 5 or 10 minutes to get checked by the doctor. And I tell my patient, if you are worried about something with your heart, I will never be upset if you see me today and you come back tomorrow because you say, something happened between the moment I saw my doctor yesterday and today. I will never be upset and say, I saw this person yesterday. Why he or she is here today? On the contrary, I'm proud of that person by coming in, because then we can look at what is going on now. And I have a patient that came in with an infection yesterday. She's coming in today to get an injection of antibiotic. That is good preventive medicine, because what I'm looking is a heart that with the infection can become inflamed, and then you can develop an acute or a sudden episode of congestive heart failure. Your heart will just enlarge and will never go back to normal.
I think it's good that you just mentioned that Saturday, and I wanted to keep mentioning that. If you need a physician, and it's rare to find a physician of Dr. Mencia's capability and renowned throughout the world, to be able to go see him on a Saturday is unheard of. But he has so many patients, and he said he's going to be there on Saturdays. So make an appointment, 954-489-1345. That's 954-489-1345, and go to the Adult and Geriatric Medical Center. He's there all day Saturday. My admiration is just so high for him. He's just a little bit west of Holy Cross Hospital on Commercial Boulevard. But please do go do that. It's very important. I want to keep moving on this.
I want to also thank the group of senior helpers, because the owner of senior helper have instructed the staff that we allow there as a geriatric center. And the people that, and these are people that go and help the elderly. And they do such a good service, and they do whatever they can to make sure that money doesn't have to come out of your pocket, but what is available for that person to get help.
And senior helpers really are people who are seniors who they send out, right? Because it's even nicer.
Right.
Okay, so this whole...
So, going back to the heart, the problem can be a sudden problem that can give you congestive heart failure. It can be a chronic problem. It can be something, and that's the worst one. That means, the sudden one, sometimes you cannot prevent it. If you are traveling and, you come back to your home, and now they say, well, my legs are swollen, and I'm having shortness of breath, and I cannot lie down and sleep anymore. The damage is already done. And the message we want to bring out there is that if you have some damage, there's many things we can do in the center, in the Adult and Geriatric Center. There are many things we can do to prevent any further damage.
And what would that be?
Well,
for
example, if a person have a 10% or 20% of the heart that have suffered an insult, heart attack or inflammation or anything like that, then we have 80 or 90% of the heart that we can still protect. So we work at protecting that heart, and that's when the dietitian comes in, the cardiologist will come in. Now we just had a hematologist that just joined the practice. So the whole group will come in, and then me as the quarterback, what I do is make sure that nobody's over-medicating my patient. So even when I send my patient to the neurologist because of the memory, if I think that instead of putting the patient on medication for the memory, I can improve the blood flow, I will go with the blood flow first before adding more medication. So having that team working with you and for you, we can prevent any further damage on the patients that are motivated to move on.
So people who are smoking, that's for people
correct.
With the blood, with a heart problem, is not smoking the worst thing that could ever do?
Well, smoking and also your way of life.
If you're overweight,
you get if you follow your diet. If you are Hispanic and you eat a lot of carbohydrates and a lot of fatty food, or you are Russian, you eat a lot of starches, and so you have to say, well, now that I know that I'm having problem with my heart, my Italian culture, I need to modify it, or my Hispanic or Russian or Armenian or what have you, I have to modify things so that I can overcome this condition, and you can. So one of my Jewish patients was saying, when we have party and we get together, right after I met with you and I met with your dietitian, now when I go, I make sure I won't drink a lot, I won't eat the wrong kind of food, I watch the amount of food that I'm taking, and he is doing great. And, this guy, he's a rabbi, he's doing so well, and he's so proud when he come to me, he said, Dr. Mencia, I lost another 4 pounds. So, we make sure that the person is not overweight, because overweight, the heart's going to have to work harder, especially at night, to pump. That you have a low salt intake. So, too much salt is making the blood or the system work harder.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. How does that happen? Why does salt do that?
Well, salt is one of the a product that helps blood go sodium and the chlorine, the magnesium, the calcium, all of these products, they work between cells. So in order for one of the waste material to come out, a good material need to be exchanged. See, the cells in your body, including the blood vessel, it's like a bank. Money won't come out unless you put something in. And it's a really good bank.
There you go again.
Yeah,
I love that.
There's no loan. They won't give you a loan.
I love that. So what if you're not going to put it in, you're not going to get it out.
So, so when you take too much salt, then you are pushing all of this sodium into the cell, and then the cell says, sorry, I don't have anything to give you back. But they are so overwhelmed with sodium that then now water say, well, I need water to come into the cell, and then the cells start becoming swollen. All the water in the cell dilute the cell too much. The cell will stop functioning. That's why you see a lot of people, when they develop the legs, the swelling of the ankle, the next thing that will come is inflammation of the skin, cellulitis. That's why people with swollen ankle and people with lymphedema end up with inflammation of the cells. And one of my patients that had been seeing my dermatologist, and we've been trying to take care of one of his conditions that they were calling psoriasis by a world-renowned dermatologist. And as we say, psoriasis in one leg only, never heard of that. And, the guy couldn't even step on the floor, on the ground, because he lost all the bottom part of the feet was gone. And, it had such a horrible infection that we had to put him in the hospital. We gave him intravenous antibiotic. Then we put him on clindamycin to continue his treatment. And lo and behold, his skin came back. And he's able to drive around and function amazing. And do all the sort of thing. So, it helps so much, as a clinician, to look for the root of the problem. It's so easy in today's life, especially if you are an HMO doctor or something like that, all you can do is just patch things. A little bandage for this, a little bandage for that,
we can't do that. We have to have Dr. Mencia has to be your doctor. And I just can't tell you. I mean, just listening to this explanation just this morning is amazing. And, of course, so Dr. Mencia he's like a... he's like a captain of the ship, and he really wants everybody to do well. So if someone has told you that you have congestive heart failure and you're living that way and there's not much being done, go to Dr. Mencia. See, you've heard everything he said. Let me give you the number again. It's 954-489-1345. 954-489-1345. You have probably about 4 more minutes for us to go. Yeah.
4 more hours.
Yeah, Preacher, I know. Well, listen, we'll have to get a 2-hour show for you. But but congestive heart failure, do you have most of your patients, would you say?
I had a patient, and that was the motivation for the topic. I had a patient that came in, and a young guy, obese, smoker, run diet, young black guy. And I say, listen, I look into his mouth and I saw so much cavity and stuff. I say, you're going to go to the dental department. He said, oh, no, I hate dentists. I say, you want me to take care of you? You want me to help you so you don't die young? You're going to go there. It won't cost you anything. It's going to be a free consultation. I'm doing that for you. And the guy said, you sure? I said, yes, I want you to. And he went up there, and Mike sat down with the guy, and we explained to him, look, if you are afraid of the dentist, we can put you under sedation. You won't see anything. You won't feel anything. We are going to take good care of you. But this is the root of your problem. This can kill you. And he didn't see it like that. He thought, they're going to pull out all my teeth. And it's a deep cleaning to make sure that you are well taken care of. So besides senior helper, we want to remind people that we have now a hematologist. So I'm very proud of that we have a hematologist oncologist that just joined the group. So now we have cardiologists, dermatologists, neurologists, Dr. Prego Lopez, podiatrist, ophthalmologist, dentistry, and hematologist. Don't forget the dietitian, the hypnotherapist, the psychologist. I'm so happy of the way my dream is coming through, into having one center with all these services, with the patient as the center of care. I am so happy for the blessing.
It's
God
unusual.
the blessing that God had done for me, because I met this hematologist, and we'll bring her to the show. She's very sweet, and God keeps sending me beautiful people, into my life.
Well, you're a beautiful person, and so people are attracted by working with you. Can we do something? This is such an interesting topic. Can we maybe make this part 1 and next week maybe part 2?
Oh, congestive heart failure?
I think
Absolutely.
so.
Oh,
I think
yes,
it's a
There's so
very
much we
big,
can talk.
important subject,
It is,
Dr. Mencia.
It is.
Personally, I had that experience I shared, and I just have to tell you that now that you're talking about it.
For the audience out there, listen, if you come to see me, don't come to see me because your leg are too swollen now. You can have swelling from just a little bit of swelling that you take your thumb and you put it against your ankle and you press, you can take your thumb and put it against your ankle and press for half a minute and then let go. If you have an indentation after you let go, that means you have some form of swelling in there. A little bit of swelling is better to treat than when you take your thumb and your thumb goes so deep inside that it make a huge indentation. That's called +3 pitting edema, very severe pitting edema. So when you're having that little bit of swelling, when you are laying down flat and you're having a little bit of shortness of breath, or you wake up in the middle of the night with a little bit of shortness of breath, that is a small signal going to you, telling you that something is wrong with the heart. Take care of it early. I can treat you if you already have congestive heart failure, but my pride will be to prevent it from happening.
Okay,
so
well,
we'll make a part 2 on this.
I would like to do that. I think it's one of the most important topics, and I know this month we're doing, the article is going to be on sleep apnea, but maybe the next article should be on congestive heart failure.
Richard coming with a guillotine, so
right?
we better.
I know it. Anyway, thank you, Dr. Mencia, as usual. Remember, he is there on Saturdays.
We are open in half an hour.
Right. It's wonderful there. Right. 954-489-1345. Don't wait till it's too late. Go and see Dr. Mencia now. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. And good luck on the expo.
Yes. Oh, yes. We're going to have the expo on the July 20th. Friday, the July 20th, we're going to have our big expo. We're going to go to a break, and then Joe Karp, our elder law attorney, will be with us.